The episode of Jacob's struggle with God at the Jabbok ford is one of the most interesting and significant accounts found in the Bible. This dramatic encounter between Jacob and a divine figure occurred at a crucial moment in his life, marked by family conflicts and a search for reconciliation. In this video, we will explore the details of this event and its profound spiritual significance for Jacob and for us today. Subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell so that whenever a new video is released on the channel, you can receive it. The episode of Jacob's struggle with God at the Jabbok ford raises important questions about the interpretation of biblical narrative. One of the main areas of debate is the nature of the struggle. Was it literal or symbolic? Let's explore both interpretations. Literal interpretation. According to this approach, the struggle between Jacob and God was a physical and real event. Jacob actually faced a divine figure, whether God or an angel sent by him, and wrestled with him throughout the night. This interpretation argues that the events described in the Bible should be understood literally, without allegories and symbolism. In this context, the physical struggle represents a moment of testing and transformation in Jacob's life, where his faith and determination are put to the test. Symbolic interpretation. On the other hand, the symbolic interpretation argues that Jacob's struggle with God is a metaphor or allegory of a deeper spiritual experience. According to this view, the struggle did not occur physically but symbolically, representing Jacob's internal and spiritual conflicts. He may have wrestled with his own doubts, fears, and sins, seeking reconciliation and spiritual renewal. Both interpretations have their merits and challenges. Chapter 32 of the book of Genesis presents one of the most remarkable episodes in Jacob's life. Before the struggle, Jacob sends gifts and messengers ahead of his family, preparing to meet his brother Esau, with whom he had conflicts in the past. Jacob is anxious and fearful about this imminent encounter. Jacob is alone on the bank of the Jabbok River and is approached by a man with whom he begins to wrestle. The struggle extends throughout the night, symbolizing an intense and prolonged spiritual battle. Even when the man tries to break free, Jacob insists on holding firm and asks for a blessing before letting him go. Jacob demonstrates his determination to seek a divine blessing, even if it means facing difficulties and challenges. The man, who reveals himself as God, asks to know Jacob's name. After Jacob reveals his name, the man changes his name to Israel, which means a one who struggles with God, or Prince of God. This name change represents a spiritual transformation and renewed identity for Jacob. After the struggle, Jacob acknowledges that he has seen the face of God and has had his life spared. He names the place Peniel, which means a face of God, as a memorial of this divine encounter. Two main interpretations arise regarding the identity of this mysterious man. Was he an angel sent by God, or was he God himself in human form? Angel sent by God? According to this interpretation, Jacob's opponent was an angel sent by God to confront him. Advocates of this view point to the language and actions of the opponent, which resemble those attributed to angels elsewhere in the Bible. God in human form? This interpretation suggests that Jacob's opponent was God himself manifesting in human form. This view is supported by the fact that, after the struggle, Jacob acknowledges having seen the face of God and having survived. Furthermore, Jacob's name change to Israel, which means a one who struggles with God, suggests a direct identification with divinity. In this sense, the struggle becomes a direct and personal encounter between Jacob and God himself. The name Jacob means a one who grabs by the heel or supplanter. It reflects Jacob's cunning and deceitful nature, evidenced in his relationships with his brother Esau and his father Isaac. However, after the struggle at the Jabbok ford, Jacob receives the name Israel, which means a one who struggles with God, or Prince of God. This name change represents a profound spiritual transformation in Jacob's life, indicating his new identity as someone who wrestled directly with God and emerged blessed. The name change to Israel also reflects Jacob's special and intimate relationship with God. He not only wrestled with God but also received divine blessing and recognition. The name Israel suggests a direct and personal connection with the divine, highlighting the importance of this spiritual encounter in Jacob's life. Beyond individual significance, the name Israel also became the name of God's chosen people. The descendants of Jacob were known as the children of Israel, and the name Israel became synonymous with the nation of Israel as a whole. Jacob's encounter with God resulted in a fundamental spiritual transformation in his life. He went from being a cunning and deceitful man to someone who wrestled directly with God and emerged blessed. In addition to affecting Jacob individually, the encounter with God had significant consequences for the people of Israel as a whole. Jacob became the patriarch of the 12 tribes of Israel, and his encounter with God at the Jabbok ford is seen as a foundational event in Israel's spiritual and national history. Jacob's name change to Israel not only reflected his personal transformation but also had implications for the identity and destiny of the people of Israel as a nation chosen by God. Jacob's encounter with God renewed his purpose and faith in God. He acknowledged God's presence and power in his life in a new and profound way, leading him to trust more fully in divine guidance and promises. This encounter strengthened his determination to follow God's path and fulfill the role assigned to him as a spiritual leader and patriarch of Israel. There is a theological concept called theophany that describes a visible manifestation of God to humans. According to some scholars, it is an experience in which God reveals himself tangibly and visibly to humans. This can occur through natural phenomena such as fire, clouds, or storms, or through the appearance of angels or other visible forms. These manifestations are intended to convey a divine message, offer guidance, or establish a closer relationship between God and people. In the Bible, there are several accounts of theophanies that illustrate the diversity of ways in which God chose to reveal himself to humans. A classic example is the burning bush, where God appeared to Moses in a flame of fire that did not consume the plant. Another example is the cloud that descended upon Mount Sinai during the giving of the Ten Commandments, representing the presence and glory of God. Theophanies serve various purposes in biblical narrative and the spiritual life of believers. They can be used to convey divine messages, such as instructions for religious leaders or prophets, as evidence of God's presence and power, or as a means of establishing direct communication between God and the people. Furthermore, theophanies are often associated with moments of revelation or spiritual transformation for those who witness them. From a theological perspective, theophanies highlight the transcendence and immanence of God. They reveal the majestic and powerful nature of God, while also demonstrating his willingness to approach and communicate with his people in a tangible way. Theophanies remind believers that God is active in human history and is constantly present in their lives, even when his presence may not be visible. Therefore, Jacob's struggle with God represents a significant divine encounter, symbolizing his spiritual quest and inner transformation. His name change to Israel testifies to this transformation and reflects a new purpose and identity. The injury to Jacob's thigh is a constant reminder of his dependence on divine grace, highlighting his humility and trust in God. His journey serves as a model for all who seek a deeper relationship with God and a greater purpose in life. If you enjoyed this video and found any important information, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, share, and leave your like on the video to help us spread this message of faith.